Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell in the upper right hand corner. Follow me on all forms of social media. Check me out at thatdrummerguy.com and enjoy the following presentation.
Hello there.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm glad to do it, and it's great to be able to talk about a brand new album from Nailed to Obscurity, Black Frost, which is coming out the 11th of January through Nuclear Blast. I've gotten the chance to be able to check this album out over the course of the last week or so, and I really gotta say, I really love the direction that you guys are going in right now. I think this might be my favorite Nailed to Obscurity album so far. I love the atmosphere of what's going on here, the lyrical content, the overall music and vibe that's going on there. Just everything seems to be hitting on all the right levels.
Thank you very much for that. So you are familiar with the stuff that we released prior to Black Frost?
Oh yes, I actually started with Opaque back when that was first originally released and been a fan ever since.
Very cool. That's great to hear. Very cool. I wasn't aware of that because you're from the US, and it's really interesting to hear that people over there also know our music and enjoyed it. So this is really a pleasure hearing this, and a great compliment. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm glad to be able to help represent the U.S. in just a small way with that. I mean, I always try to search out for the best music out there, and when I get an opportunity to be able to help represent it in a case like this, I mean, I immediately got to jump on that because I feel like this, even though it's still 2018, I feel like this is going to be one of my favorite 2019 albums. So it's great to be able to talk about it.
Very cool. Very cool. That's really great to hear.
Oh, absolutely. So, with that said, how did the writing process begin for this new album?
Yeah, the writing process began in the end of 2017. Yeah, I had to look which year we're at right now. Yeah, it was in the end of 2017. And Volker, our guitar player, and Ole, the other guitar player, they're always starting to write their ideas first because they're sitting there as a two-piece and writing the first riffs and melody ideas and decide what might make its way to the rehearsal room where we are writing, arranging, and finishing the songs with a full band. And that was in February when they presented their first ideas. And then Carsten, our bass player, and Jan, our drummer, joined the fold. And and from then on, we met up nearly every weekend up until the actual recordings in September. Because it's really tough to write in this old school way because we are writing everything together with a full band when it comes to the actual arrangements and all that stuff. So it was kind of stressful. We only skipped a rehearsal for the actual songwriting when we had to play a show. And all the other weekends we were just trapped in the rehearsal room and tried to nurture the ideas and all that stuff. But we changed a little thing this time around because we went to the studio where we actually recorded the album. It was 1 month prior to the actual recordings, and we went through all the arrangements that we already had with our producer Victor Vicentura Bullock, and presented these ideas to him just to get an outside view. It was just to get the opinion of someone who was not familiar with the whole process of the actual writing, and that was really refreshing challenging because it was really positive at first, because he said you have very strong material here, but he also said maybe you could tweak that part a little more and all that stuff, and nurture that idea a little more. And so we took that back into the rehearsal room and finalized the songs, and then we ran into the studio to actually record the album. And we also worked on the songs during the final recording sessions. So we worked on these songs up until the end of September, when we finally recorded all the songs. So it was a very long process in a way, but for us as a band it was kind of short, because we normally aren't, let's say, meeting each other in the rehearsal room that often. It was very stressful in a way, but it was also very rewarding when everything took shape. And for me, as the lyricist, I started collecting ideas in 2017 after the tour that we did with Dark Tranquility. And I collected ideas that I thought might fit with future songs. And when the first arrangements were finished in late April, early May this year, I tried to make sure which idea might fit with a certain song, or if I had to write something completely new because the song inspired me to do that, or none of my ideas would fit with that one. So that was my kind of process, and then I started to decide where I use the growl vocals or the clean vocals. And this time around it was also pretty obvious to me in the very first place, because of the dynamics of the songs and the mood of the songs and the atmosphere, that there had to be a lot more clean vocals, or let's call them effect vocals, because I'm also whispering and using different techniques of clean singing on that record. But it was really obvious that the songs were, let's say, requesting for that. Yeah, and that was my kind of process. And but in the end, we basically worked on these songs from late 2017 up until September 2018.
Yeah, and it's great to hear that too. I mean, the fact that it can go on as long as it was and be able to keep that authenticity on there, making sure that you're not getting tired of the songs already, keeping them fresh, getting some outside opinion on what to do to make the songs even stronger, and on your end, having some lyrical content beforehand, but also being inspired by some riffs to be able to possibly go in a different direction. It's great to hear that.
Yeah, sometimes it's kind of tough, because there was one idea that I had that was pretty much finished in a way. I wrote it prior to any kind of finished song, and I was that satisfied with that idea. And the other guys in the band also told me this is really something special, but I really didn't feel like there was one song that had a fitting mood. So I kept this one. Maybe it will be on the next record, I don't know. But I think the most important thing is that the lyrics have to feel right for the songs, and vice versa. So everything has to be a closed piece, so to speak.
That's already got me excited for the next album or the following album, or whenever that idea comes to fruition. I mean, like, if it already sounds this inspired for what's going on with this album, I'm already excited for what's to come next.
I do too. I'm also looking forward to anything that will come up next. But I'm also happy that we finished this record, and now that I have the right distance to the actual recordings, I'm also able to enjoy the songs, because when we recorded them, it was kind of tough because everything felt so new. On the one hand, it was exciting to do that, and on the other hand, it was like, is this actually any good? But now it feels just right.
Oh, and it's great to hear that too. I mean, sometimes that does happen, especially when you're in the midst of creating and recording and hearing it back and making sure it's the best it can possibly be. It can kind of take the enjoyment out of listening to the song. So when you do have that little bit of separation from the time of creating to when you actually get to hear the final product again, I mean, it's great to hear that there is that appreciation for the songs, because I know from the fan perspective, I love all 7 songs that are going on with this album.
Thank you very much. Yeah, but you're right. It's really tough to get this third person point of view. Now when I listen to the songs, it feels like like songs. I don't listen to myself too much. I listen to the songs again, like I did before we recorded them too. But when we recorded them, it was more or less like, oh gosh, yeah, this has to be perfect, and you have to nail this one. But now that I don't feel the pressure anymore, I'm really able to enjoy the songs, and I like them. It's really a strong part of myself that found its way into the songs, and I hear that too. But it's also great to hear just the songs.
Oh, absolutely. So with that said, I mean, obviously, when you're working on lyrics, make sure that they perfectly fit the song and everything. An important aspect that also comes with that is being able to decide a title. So where did the idea come from to make Black Frost the title of the album?
Yeah, that was something that let's say found its way to me when I was in the songwriting mode, so to speak. I watched TV, but the TV was just running, and I didn't pay attention too much to what was actually happening there. I did some stuff in the house, whatever, and then I heard this term, Black Frost, and I was like, what was that? Black Frost? Never heard about that. Frost, for me personally, is white. What is Black Frost? It sounds mysterious. It sounds sinister. It sounds haunting, interesting. What the hell is Black Frost? And then I searched through the internet, and I found out that Black Frost is a term that comes from shipping. So when an undercooled ship navigates through moisture, fog, or rain, Black Frost is forming on the superstructures of the ship, like the masts and the ropes. And the resulting ice is able to cause the ship to capsize. And I was like, that's one of the strongest emotional metaphors that I ever heard, that I had in my head, because I immediately felt like it's like people that aren't channeling their negative emotions, that are suppressing their sinister thoughts or whatever, something that is very natural for human beings, but they aren't accepting darker emotions as a part of themselves. And while they are suppressing these emotions, they are creating this huge burden, this black frost, and this black frost is able to cause their minds to capsize. And I immediately felt it was very strong. But now I had to convince the other guys in the band. And then we sat together, we played a show, I remember very well, and our bass player was like, and Raimund, what about you? Do you have a title? And I was like, yeah, I have something in mind. Tell me, please, tell me, what's in your mind? And I was like, what about Black Frost? And he was like, man, that sounds interesting. And then I told him about my idea and all the other guys, and we were like, this is cool, this fits Nailed to Obscurity's music. This fits all the lyrical content for this new album that is now Black Frost. And and it sounds very metal in a way, but that was just a side effect.
Yeah, and I absolutely love the title, and especially when you pay attention to the lyrics throughout the album, and of course the title track alone. I mean, you definitely do get that personal vibe, that very dark feeling of oneself, and that's why it does fit so natural. I mean, between the album cover perfectly matching Black Frost to the music in general, I mean, it really fits the overall tone for where the band band's at right now, and it feels like such a great natural fit.
Yeah, for me too. Thank you.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and getting back into that album cover, I mean, just like thinking about Black Frost and just like getting the ideas behind that. I mean, I'm just looking at the album cover now, and it looks so natural for something that would look like something for Nailed to Obscurity, but it's just like it's so authentic and so very cool to look at, and it's great to see that you were able to get this for the album cover.
Yeah, we are also very happy with the album cover. It was done by Santiago Caruso, an Argentinian artist, and he also worked with us on the cover artwork and the whole imagery for King Delusion. And back then, we also thought he fit his imagery fits the lyrical content and the music so well, and therefore we really wanted to work with him again, and we sent him the music and all the lyrics before we actually recorded the album, because he's painting everything himself. There is no digital coloring or whatever. It's really a painting, everything that he does. And we sent him that in advance, and then he wrote an email back, and he said to us, I would really love to start painting right away, because I feel that I have such a strong idea in my head, in my mind, and I really would love to bring this one to the table right away. Because during the King Delusion sessions, he sent sketches in advance. But this time, he asked for that, and we were like, we trust you 100%. Everything that you did for King Delusion was just beyond phenomenal. Just go for it. And then he sent us the first states of his paintings, and we were like, this is something cool. And then he told us about his interpretation of Black Frost. He said Black Frost, in his own version, is only attacking human beings, and it leaves out animals and nature, so the flora and fauna, so to speak. And so he adds some sort of social critical component to the lyrical content of the album, and this is so great. I really love the artwork and all the imagery that he did, that you can find within the booklet. So you should definitely check that one out if you like the cover artwork itself. Definitely check out the booklet of the digipack or the vinyl sheet. It's really worth it. He really does well, and his imagery fits with the music and the lyrics and everything. Like I already said, it's really special and really great.
And again, it's so great to hear that, like, everything working out the way that it was supposed to go. I mean, whether it's like getting some amazing artwork, whether it's getting the song structures just perfectly right, even if you had to manipulate it a little bit, and now just the overall presentation of being able to check out the album, and for everyone else who gets to check it out on the 11th of January through Nuclear Blast. I mean, it's so great to see everything that is going in the right direction for Nailed to Obscurity, because again, like I've mentioned a few times, it feels so perfect right now, and it's so great to see that.
Thank you very much. We feel that too. Yeah.
So with that said, obviously with this coming out in the first few weeks of 2019, is there any additional plans for 2019 yet for you guys?
Yeah, we're playing a tour right away when we after we released the album with Amorphous and Soilwork and Ginger, which is a phenomenal package. Five weeks being on tour with bands that inspired us so much. Amorphous is such a strong inspiration, especially their first records, but we still love the band to death, and to this day also. And then there is Soilwork, a band band from the Gothenburg scene, and the Gothenburg scene also had a strong impact on Nail to Obscurity, especially in our early days. And so this is really a dream coming true package for us. And also Ginger, I don't want to leave out Ginger. They are the new European road dogs. They're really playing their asses off, and it's really cool to be able to play with them too. So yeah, this is what we will do at first, and then we are going to play some festivals here in Europe. I can't say too much about that because not all the festivals are all already they are confirmed, but they didn't actually launch the information so far. So we have to wait on that. And then there are different plans for single shows and everything. So there will be a lot possibilities to catch us live here in Europe, and hopefully we will also get the chance to play the States sometime, somewhere. We're just hoping for a good opportunity to do that.
Oh, definitely, and I'm looking forward to that as well. But until then, I mean, it's great to see all the amazing opportunities that are coming that way. I mean, from the summer festival circuit to one-off shows to right when the album comes out, being able to tour with such amazing bands like that on such a great, diverse but heavy lineup like that. I mean, it's so great to see like everything going forward the way that it is, and just really getting the great name of Nail to Obscurity out there.
Yeah, we think so too. It's really something 100% fitting, and it's really amazing. It feels just surreal to think about that.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And being a gigantic fan of Amorphous and Soilwork, I mean, it's great to see a band like yourselves being able to tour with such bands like that, and just like getting that name out there and playing to a bit of a different audience, even though there's a lot of melody going on between all four bands. I mean, it's what I really appreciate about tours like this is because all four bands are so different from each other, but they all make sense to tour together.
Yeah, you're right. Well, because you can put the term melodic death metal in a way for towards all these bands, but it's very diverse. Yes, because there is the more, let's say, technical approach when it comes to soil work, and there is a lot more, let's say, focus on the folk element when it comes to Amorphous and Ginger with their, let's say, gent-esque music, and then there is us with this full-on doom vibe atmosphere and all that stuff. So yeah, it's really an interesting package.
Oh, definitely. And I'm excited to see like how the fan base is going to be reacting to you guys live, because if these sounds are already this crushing when I listen to the album, I just imagine that a live experience when you get to play Black Frost songs live is just going to be even better.
Yeah. We played that song one time live, and it was something, definitely, because we played a show at the Metal Hammer Paradise. Metal Hammer is the largest metal fanzine, print fanzine in Germany, and they have this festival, Metal Hammer Paradise, and we played there as a replacement for Jesper Strömblad's new band, for Syra, and we played that song for the first time, and it felt so great to play that song. It was, let's say, for me personally, the pinnacle of the set. It felt so great to unleash this bastard to the audience, so to speak. It was really something. So I'm looking forward to play that song more often.
Oh, I can imagine so. And, between like all four albums that are out there now and being able to promote this great album in Black Frost, I mean, it's great to see that there is so much material that you can represent in a live setting.
Yeah, and it's hard to pick because you can imagine there are 4 bands and we don't have that much time to play, and it's tough to pick because the songs are that long, and if you have let's say 30-35 minute slot, it's really tough because you can play sometimes just 4 to 5 songs. This is really tough. You have to pick the right ones. and you don't actually know what the right ones are. You as a musician can only pick what feels right for yourself and what you would love to play.
Oh yeah, and that's what's so important too. I mean, making sure that either ones that are coming out just for you or brand new fans that you'd be making that night. You know, just like showing a great representation of what you guys can do. You know, promoting the brand new album, which it's so perfect that you guys are being able to release the album, then immediately going out on tour like that. I mean, that's such great timing, and then being able to throw in a possible classic or two to be able to show off what you guys can do outside of Black Frost. I mean, it's a hard formula to mix, but once you do it, I mean, it's a great feeling.
Yeah, you're right, 100%.
And yeah, I think with that, I think that's a fantastic note to end on. And thank you so very much for taking all this time to be able to talk to me about everything that's going on in the world of Nailed to Obscurity. And of course, the brand new album, Black Frost, which is coming out the 11th of January through Nuclear Blast. I absolutely love this album. And I know at this time next year, it's still going to be one of my favorite albums of 2019. And it was great to be able to get your insight into what's going on with the band, what's going on in the future, and just talking about this amazing album, Black Frost.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure talking to you, and it's really great that you are really that much into our music. It would be my pleasure to meet you in person. I hope this will happen somewhere someday.
Oh, me as well. I mean, whether you guys get that opportunity to make it here to the States or I make it out over to Europe to be able to see you guys, I mean, whatever the situation is, I mean, I'm looking forward to that day where I get to meet you and finally see Nailed to Obscurity live.
Yeah, that will be our pleasure too. We look forward to that.